Jason here, Clear Creek Farm. How are we doing today? We are at the ABGA Nationals, as you can see. We are all set up, ready to go. I'm going to try to bring you guys along today as I talk to a few people. Hey, come on along with us as we get the day started and get the show started. We're going to be fitting some goats here shortly, so I'm going to bring you along as I do that. I think I got somebody to fit goats later on in the week, showing you guys in a detailed video on fitting goats. So come along with us.
Everybody had fantastic costumes, and I think they deserve a big round of applause. So for our first place, we decided as a group that the beekeeper was the best. And then for second place, the butterfly. And then for third place, the fisherman. Everybody did great, and we loved every single costume. Name, your goat's name, and your costume.
My name is Calvin. My goat's name is Madeline, and she is Marie Laveau, and I'm her crocodile.
Name, goat's name, and your costume.
My name is Gio. My goat's name is Cruella, and I'm one of the 101 Dalmatians. This is Cruella.
Name, goat name, and your costume.
I am Tori Briggs. This is Lucky Charm, and we're Superwoman and Superlove.
Superwoman, Superlove.
I'm Hope Westfall, this is Sienna, and I'm Shaggy, and this is Scooby-Doo.
My name is Desiree. My goat's name is Dolly, and I'm Corella, and she's the Dalmatian.
My name is Katie, and this is Rudy, and this is Chuck Explorer. We will be. So if you guys want to store any bees today, we are happy to deliver it to your pens. Hopefully, Chuck will run off and go to take a nap, so the girls can take it.
Stop.
My name is Tyler, and my goat's name is Spot, and our costume is made in America.
My name is Cash, my goat is Dose, and our costume is I'm the pilot, and this is my Blue Wing jet plane.
Hi, I'm Cassie, and this is Honeybee, and she is Harry Potter and Hermione.
Good job. Big round of applause for all these kids.
That guy just sniffed the other girl's hand because he's trying to be Joe Biden. Too good.
We have decided that Creepy Joe costume has won and Jurassic Park is second. But it was close.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now showing for our grand champion in our market division. Once again, I'd like to name and tell you who all of our kids are that were placed in individual groups. So starting out in our lightweight division, your champion, that's Nolan Hogan. Reserve was Kara Cummins. Let's give them a round of applause. There you go. Also, in our medium weight, your champion was Ariana Lundgren, and reserve was Lawson Brown. Let's give those two kids a round of applause. And finally, in our heavyweight division, the champion was Kendra Myers, and reserve with him was Nolan Hogan. So, ladies and gentlemen, some of the best in our Market Weather Show. Put your hands together and encourage these young people as we name our grand champion, Market Weather Go. Give them a round of applause. While our judge is making his final decision here, we'd just like to pay special tribute to some sponsors that we've got for that. We've kind of got them gathered out here in the ring. Just want to read just a little bit about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce you to a group of caring people who share a vision of promoting the future of our youth by offering $5,000 in non-taxable monetary gifts to the top 6 placings overall in this Grand Champion Drive. They are as follows. We have Representative Radiant Bred Boar Goats, that's Kenny Megan and Braden Elwood out of Bella Vista, California. Newton Farm, that's Marge Newton Skaggs out of Lakeville, Indiana. And we have Flat Rock Reproduction Services, Ron Dilly, Dr. Kyle Onan, and Brendan Lewis from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen, these people are special cares about these kids. Want to make sure they're well, got some, I don't want to say necessarily it's all monetary because there's just a lot of really good, heavy support for these kids, and that shows they've decided to put this together for those kids. So ladies and gentlemen, give these people a round of applause because they're doing a lot for our kids here in ABGA.
Well, it wasn't a huge weather show, but there's some nice high-quality individuals out here. We got to realize where we're at. The stage, most of these are probably set up for state fairs, county fairs, something that happens a little later down the road. So it's still early for these weathers to be at their end point, and I don't think they necessarily have to be right now. We're trying to find those that have the most quality that we're looking for and put it together in a single package. And there's some close decisions. I think this weather that came out of our lightweight division is super high quality. He's just a lighter weight weather at this stage of the game, and I think that's probably fine. This isn't an end point for anyone, and he's put together really completely and nicely. And the weather that came out of our medium weight division, it's a little more tubular in his overall design, maybe not quite the overall dimension of rack shape and rib shape of the two that are on either side of him, but he's a nice tall fronted, extended, long-sided weather with some real look to him. And the weather that came out of our heavyweight division just has tons of mass. You know, he's presented really nicely. When she gets him stuck, he looks really good. He's just not as good on the move, and we got to decide if we can live with that. It's a market animal. He moves around fine, but he's not quite as put together as I'd like for him to be your champion today, but he's excessively massive, still expressive. I love the dimension of that rib and the handle that he has on him, so it's going to be a close decision for your overall champion today. You know? Still kind of debating it back and forth because I think that lightweight weather is super high quality and super complete, but he just gives up a little bit of mass today, and he should. He's going to be really great down the road. But today, this young lady gets this heavyweight weather stuck. He's got so much mass, he's going to be hard to beat. He's a champion.
And your grand champion from the heavyweight division, that's Kendra Myers. Nolan Hope pulls over for our reserve brand.
I really like the overall quality, like I said, the structure, the design, the look of this lightweight weather. He's going to be a reserve champion today.
So your reserve comes out of lightweight division. Once again, that's Nolan Hope. Kara Cummins pulls over now as we select our third best over in our market show.
Started looking for who's got that mass and that complete look, and it was really close in class 2 to your grand champion. It's going to be your heavyweight goes second.
So your third best overall also goes to Nolan Hope. Now Kara Cummins will pull over and get ready to show for that number 4 position.
I think it gets really close for 4th. I think there's one out here with just a tick more base width, a tick more shape in relation to his size. It's going to be your young weather that came out of this lightweight division.
And your 4th will go to Kara Cummins.
Champion middleweight is going to be your 5th.
Ariana Langway is 5th. We got, I think, one more to select. Lawson Brown now pulls over. We're selecting number 6. Also, Matthew Westfall has pulled over for our final selection.
Like the added expression, width, dimension of the little lightweight weather here is going to be your 6th best weather today.
And your 6th overall belongs to Matthew Westfall. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our market weather show. We're going to take a 10-minute break after our pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now showing for our grand champion here in our commercial goat show. And as we've done throughout the day, at the final time today, we're going to go ahead and introduce our young people to you at this time. Coming out of that milk, I'll get it out here in just a minute. Milk Teeth Division. Your champion was Lane Fitzwater, and also Lane had the reserve champion in that same division. Coming out of the Two Teeth Division, your champion was Tassie Joe Bailey, and reserve was Tegan Hoggart. And in your 4-teeth division we just finished with, your champion was Allison O'Neill, and your reserve champion was Bred Bassford. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big one. Put your hands together and encourage these young people as we name our grand champions from our show. Ladies and gentlemen, as we did kind of earlier in our weather show, we're going to have some special awards that we have this year that we haven't had in the past. Once again, some people who have decided to put some financial support. Many of you do, but kind of an extra special thing this year. I'm proud to introduce you once again a group of caring people who share a vision of promoting the future of our youth by offering $5,000 in non-taxable monetary gifts to the top 6 placings overall in this grand champion drive. There are as follows: the SAKD Board Goats, that's Ken, Jane, and Sid Beatty out of Loveland, Colorado. We have Wendy Acres Boarders, that's Terry and Sue Taylor out of Lubbock, Texas. And Minger Creek Ranch, that's Irvin and Tracy Vaughn out of Vernon, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some of them over here in the ring. Give them a round of applause, guys. Thank you. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much. And before he gets that microphone, he gets a little chance to go up there and look at last time. You know, this young man's done a great job today. One thing we always look at, judge, and treat our kids with respect. Every kid gets a fair chance, a second look, and he's done that today. Not going to do a whole lot of other things, but ladies and gentlemen, would you give a big thank you from ABGA Group from Ashland, Missouri, Mr. Nick Hanna.
Well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. Got to judge the open show in 2018, so it was fun to come back and do the market and commercial does and see the differences. And I appreciate the American Board Goat Association, its members, for supporting junior programs. You know, most of the goats I judged today, they don't have registration papers, but there's little doubt what breed made these goats. And I think the more we can support these, this is going to be a continuing segment of our industry, and the more the ABGA can get involved with it and support it. I commend that, and I commend the folks who were responsible for raising the money, put up the money. You know, it makes it a little more fun if you're winning something. We go to a lot of shows, and there's not a lot of prize money to be had, and guess what? You're still not going to break even, but at least there's a little something there in the pot. It makes it a little more fun. So I commend those that put up that money and made this a little more fun for those kids that are going to go home with some money today. You know, I realize it takes a village to get to this point. It's not just these exhibitors out here working hard. It's parents, it's feed dealers, it's show supply men, it's mentors in 4-H and FFA advisors and everybody else. And it takes a lot of people to make all this happen. So kids, I know you don't think about it very often, but tonight, thank your parents, because they're spending a lot of time and a lot of money trying to get you involved in something positive, keeping you busy, and I think that's all good. And there's a lot of things kids can be doing. They could be showing livestock, they could be doing sports, they could be doing spelling bees. It's amazing what kids can get involved in. But I think livestock gives you a little something above and beyond the others, just because you learn to care about something above and beyond yourself. You learn to be generous with your time, you learn to be compassionate about animals. And no matter what these kids do in life, hopefully they're learning to be advocates for agriculture. And wherever they go in life, they're going to advocate for agriculture. And I think the biggest lesson that they probably take home is that, you know, we need to keep that next generation involved in agriculture just from a national security perspective. We need to raise our own food and keep raising our own food to make it profitable and sustainable. And you might say it's just a show and these are just goats. And so many goats at the sale barn lately, they're bringing $4 and $5 a pound. And that's without any help from a commodity group, from a breed association. So imagine if ABGA put a little more effort into also the commercial side of this goat industry. Somebody develop a meat program, somebody develop performance programs, somebody do something commercially to set up even higher bar for the baseline of these show animals that we're producing. We're going around showing, I think there's great possibilities for the goat industry, just given our shifting cultures of our population here in the United States, and you see what these animals are worth. We sold some does at the sale barn not too long ago. They brought $500 a head. Like, there is a huge demand for folks who just want to be in the goat business. And, you know, I would bet that more than half the people in here don't eat goat on a regular basis, but somebody is. So let's push that, let's promote that. It's a good product, and I think it could be more than what we're even doing with it today. But today we're here looking at the phenotype, trying to pick the ones that we think look the best. I tried all day long to find ones that are wide-based, square on all fours, long and feminine in that front end. But in this commercial doe show, I try to put as much functional muscle and shape into them as I think we can allow. Does that are going to be breeders, but still make some really awesome Wethers, some really good little show does that are going to be worth a lot of money, and I think we got those out here. We got some different types. We got some that are probably a little more Wether type. We got some that are maybe a little more breeder type, but they still have a big wide loin edge in them, and they could produce something that's really cool. So with that being said, let's give these kids a hand. I'll go pick your top 6 today.
And also have the reserve champion. We'll pull over as we get ready to name our reserve champion. And the reserve champion also comes out of that division. And that is Lane Fitzwater. Now, Kara Cummings will pull over. We're selecting our 3rd best overall. Also comes out of that rookie division, that's Kara Cummings. And 4th comes out of the 14th division, that's Allison O'Neill. We have Brett Baxter pulls over, and Matthew Westfall. And that 5th spot goes to Matthew Westfall, and the 6th one goes out of that 2D division, Tassie Doe Bailey.
So into day two's a wrap up. All the goats are ready. They will be shown tomorrow. That's Grace's 2 goats, her percentage and her full-blood doe. For bred and owned. So, and we're doing showmanship tomorrow, so we'll bring you guys along with us as we do that. So thank you guys for coming along, and see you on the next video.